look. This made the guy in the bandana's eyes even shine because he had hope. Watching Steve's reaction with one eye, the main character missed the ring over and over again. But his last throw was clean, and the guy scored 601 points. Viewers from the stream appreciated this act and sent the student many donations. People in the establishment said that he was from another planet. Someone called him a legend, and the main character blamed everything on luck. Poorly, he added that it was his first time coming to the ring, and he didn't even particularly strive to defeat Steve. The blonde guy replied that Batten had obviously been doing this for several years, but he was pretending to be a beginner. Soon, the student turned around to give up the machine gun to his opponent and go home. But he was stopped by Steve, who said that he was not playing at his full strength, so they should fight again. The main character wanted to say that he asked for it himself but did not do it. A few seconds later, the guy in the bandana was throwing balls again, but at a slightly faster speed. This time he scored 698 points, which was considered a record. Tired and sweating, Steve handed the turn to his opponent. For Batten, this was not difficult, and he set to work with even greater confidence. There were different people on the stream. Some watched to see the humiliation of their opponents. For others, it replaced tournaments. The fact that the student scored more than 700 points made Steve's friends and players' jaws drop. The angry guy in the bandana asked for another try, but now the main character would start their competition. The opponent easily agreed to this proposal, but in his heart he understood something. This time Batten won't be able to make fun of him because he needs to give his best to not screw up. When time expired, the scoreboard showed that he had scored 821 points. Then the main character turned to the guys and asked if he could leave now. Without waiting for an answer, he saw Steve kneel in front of him to admit defeat. This didn't bother Batten much, because on the stream they sent him a link to register for the tournament. Now winning a world-class competition no longer seemed like something out of the ordinary. The next day, early in the morning, the student met Kathleen again before going for a run. She said that the guy runs very fast, and soon it will be impossible to keep up with him. Batten put on his sneakers and thought that he was still very far from that. As he stood up, he told Kathleen that he could become the fastest in the academy, but even if he becomes one, he won't run far from her. You can't even hope. Then the girl scratched the back of her head and noticed that today there were many more people at the stadium than usual. This happened because there were competitions coming up, and Batten signed up for running, javelin throw, and shot put. To the great regret of the main character, Kathleen will not be able to participate because she has other plans. She's flying to Mexico for a week because she's been chosen to represent the academy at an international ink painting exhibition. The student's eyes widened at this news, and he sincerely congratulated his friend. As it turns out, the girl is flying out at 10 o'clock this morning, so she plans to get ready right after breakfast. Then Batten decided not to hesitate and invited Kathleen to breakfast, stopping training for the day. In response to this, she laughed and said that the last time would not be enough for that concert, so she was giving me a treat. The main character is quite happy with this arrangement. Only upon his return, he makes sure to take Kathleen out to dinner. As soon as they moved, a girl with blue hair and her friend appeared at the stadium. Other girls said that Batten was going with a beauty from the traditional painting department. Some did not understand that the rumors were true. Some had not noticed the main character at all before. He walked with Kathleen and they both laughed and talked sweetly, not paying attention to the others. The little one was upset because she heard rumors that she considered to be true. Suddenly her friend grabbed her hand and loudly called Batten by name. The blonde immediately began to talk about how Malyutka knew the main character so well. The guy confirmed that every day early in the morning, he runs at the stadium. Making the blue-haired girl blush, her friend invited Batten to train with her. Finally, it dawned on the main character that they wanted to set him up with this little one, but if he agreed to the training, things would only get worse. So he kindly replied that he had other things to do and suggested we practice later. This answer angered Malyutka's friend, because nothing could be more important than preparation for the upcoming competition. Batten said that he would get a couple of medals for their faculty. Kathleen said that he didn't have to go with her, because it would be more important to train. But the student replied that he would never give up a free breakfast. The girl asked if he knew what the tall girl with blue hair liked. She was probably right, but Batten's heart was already occupied with something else. At this time, Baby was sad that no one would ever love her, and her friend reassured her. That same day in the academic building, the teacher said that there were 2 days left before the competition. This year, their faculty will be cosplaying as the heroes of Crown Shot in Kuro's basketball. Clothes and wigs were already prepared, and Batten expressed a desire to cosplay as Cad Sleeve. He knew about his ideal throwing accuracy, so he couldn't have found a better candidate. But suddenly the most handsome guy in the faculty stood up and proposed his candidacy. The girl immediately agreed and signed up Dove for the role of Cad Sleeve. Mentally, the main character understood that he was not slim enough for this cosplay, but the role of Hanny will definitely suit him, because no one can compete against his height. It seemed that the teacher was signing up any other people to spite him. The student noticed this because she couldn't see him point blank, but he wasn't even wearing an inconspicuous cap. This made him very angry, and he jumped up from his seat to ask why this was happening. No longer holding back his emotions, he loudly asked if the teacher saw his desire. The girl smiled sweetly and asked him to sit down because she had saved a more suitable role for him. It seemed to Loaf that he would again cosplay some fat monster. Suddenly, another fat guy came to his mind, which further frayed his nerves. But according to the teacher, a central role has been chosen for the main character, around which everything is built. From such words, the student's eyes filled with joy, because he thought that he would be the coolest basketball player. But this cunning girl took out a basketball hoop and added that it would look great on Loaf's back. The main character did not at all expect such a turn of events, so he got angry, but it was no longer possible to change the role. The next day turned out to be warm and almost cloudless. The competition started well. The presenter announces the teams and asks to greet the animation department. Many students came out to the stadium to the solemn music, some of them in suits. According to the presenter, these guys organize a real visual feast every year. After some time, the performance of the second-year students ended, and it was the turn of the third-year students. The guys came out to solemn music with a sign on which the name of their faculty was written. The academy students rejoiced at the sight of them and showered the boys with all sorts of compliments. Especially a lot of compliments were addressed to Kadrukawa. He was very nice. Some guy noticed someone cosplaying as a basketball hoop and laughed at it. Batten felt terribly unpleasant and awkward, because many people already knew him. In his heart, he very much hated the teacher who assigned him this role. But for him, the worst and most humiliating thing was ahead, because according to the script, there were throws into the hoop. Just thinking about it, this girl was ready to burst with joy. And so the performance of the students of the animation department began. The main character was not happy. He knew that not one of these idiots knew how to throw normally, and he would definitely get hit on the head. Before the guy had time to think about it, the basketball was already flying right at the back of his head. The student strained with all his might so as not to get hit in the back of the head. He would have to catch their balls. Thanks to Batten's superpowers, he managed to stand so that the ball hit the hoop. The audience understood that the trick of the performance was to catch balls with a ring. Everyone was shocked that the main character felt the trajectory of the ball so well. The performance continued, and the student skillfully caught all the balls flying into the ring. He caught even the most crooked and impossible throws without much effort. Some suggested that some kind of sensors connected it to the ring, and Malyutka, who liked the main character, shouted that he was the best of all the performers. At the end of the performance, the entire animation department gave Batten a toss for his achievements. Someone in the crowd recorded everything on video to post it on TikTok, because the guy had long been an internet hero. Satisfied, John knew that this was just a warm-up, and the real sport was yet to come. After lunch, the competition began with a 5-kilometer run. At the judge's command, the athletes started, and the main character managed to get ahead. He also threw a javelin and shot put. Here, he also distinguished himself with his results. In the running discipline, he overtook his opponent by 2 seconds, taking first place. In shot put, he also took first place. The shot was at the mark of 12.25 hundredths of a meter. Baton threw the spear 51 meters, thereby breaking the academy record. For winning competitions of such a low level, he was awarded 0.3 points of championship glory. But the main character knew that all this was still very, very little. At the award ceremony, he was told that he was the real pride of the academy. No matter how strange it may sound, these were his first medals in his life. And the most amazing thing is that Batten received them for winning sports competitions. Such victories make you believe that the main character is capable of anything. All the congratulations embarrassed him so much that the guy asked him to stop showering him with compliments. A student who had just lost to Batten but couldn't stop laughing. Suddenly, the photographer realized that he had not taken a single normal photo, and they would kill him in the dean's office. The main character realized that the situation was out of control, and it was time to leave. Soon he took a selfie with all the medals he received at the competition to send the photo to Kathleen. In response to this, the girl said that she met Mrs. Kate at the exhibition, and she even took Kathleen as an assistant. She was an older woman with short hair that showed gray. Seeing this photo, Batten was very concerned because it was his mother. That evening, he called her and asked if his mother thought it was too much. The woman said his sister was supposed to report his mother leaving home. The guy asked her not to pretend, but Kate continued to make a fool of herself. Probably Batten was hinting that his mother should bring him some kind of souvenir. She even casually mentioned finding him a bride. The main character was ready to swear that his mother knew everything about Kathleen. Kate considered him a scoundrel, because she even said the word bride, but he still wouldn't give birth. Mentally, the student suggested continuing to pretend, calling it war. He began his speech by saying that they discussed this, and she should in no way